Day 5 is rather interesting. Pocahontas, Mulan, and Tong continue with what they are doing, but everyone else has had at least some interaction with other tributes. First, Moana and Belle, knowing that they can only hide for so long, set a trap for Namaari. Second, Shan Yu attempts to track the person who has been stealing from him. However, I think Flynn Rider would set a false trail leading to other tributes knowing that his trap might fail, and he would lead it to tributes who he thinks might kill Shan Yu. King Fergus and Princess Merida, as stated before, would make no attempt to hide, and King Fergus is pretty muscular, so I find it likely that Flynn would see them and lead his false trail to the tributes from Brave because he would think that King Fergus would have a chance at defeating Shan Yu for him, so that he can take occupancy of the cornucopia. Of course, Shan Yu is extremely confident, so seeing other tributes, he would challenge them to a fight. Although Merida received a 10 as her training score, King Fergus is the more muscular of the two, and he also received a 10. So Shan Yu would see King Fergus as both the bigger threat and the threat he knows he can deal with, because he doesn't know how Merida got her 10. And therefore would attack him first, should he and Merida be in physically different locations of their camp. If he were in the same area, he would just challenge them both. In either situation, Merida would recognize that Shan Yu posed a threat against her father, and would extricate herself from the situation so her archery skills would be of use. She would get her bow and take visible aim at Shan Yu. Now, King Fergus would be mostly just fighting out of self-defense, so Shan Yu would be able to notice the arrow pointed at him. However, King Fergus would still be challenging enough to fight that he wouldn't be able to put him in between himself and the arrow. And furthermore, he would recognize that Merida must have gotten her 10 from archery, and thus would be able to hit him even if he did manage to somehow put Fergus in between the two of them, because she would be able to exploit any gaps. At the end of Mulan, when he saw that there was a cannon pointed at him, he still continued to fight Mulan, but this scenario was slightly different because aborting at the end of Mulan would have yielded almost no different result, while in this scenario, aborting would allow himself to regroup and come up with a plan of attack rather than just die there. Therefore, Shan Yu would stop fighting King Fergus and escape. Princess Merida would at this point have the option to kill him, but knowing Merida, she would take mercy on him and let him go. During this, and therefore nobody dies during that encounter. And while this is happening, Flynn Rider would raid the cornucopia again. After taking inventory and realizing this, Shan Yu would set a trap for Flynn. Third, Namaari would continue her hunt for Moana and Belle, and partially because of her tracking cells, and also partially because Moana and Belle now want Namaari to find them, she would find them, but fall into their trap. Moana and Belle, at this point, now have the option to kill Namaari, but given their relative innocence, I highly doubt that they would choose this option. Rather, they would appeal to Namaari's moral side, and invite her to join their alliance. Now, in Raya and the Last Dragon, Raya attempts this strategy and with only mixed success. In fact, the majority of her success came from the fact that she knew Namaari well. Belle and Moana don't have this advantage. However, Namaari would realize that the only way out of the trap would be to join with them, so she would pretend to have a change of heart. Nevertheless, once she has been released from the trap, she would kill them instantaneously. The total deaths from Day 5 are as follows. Belle and Moana. The remaining tributes are as follows. Pocahontas, Mulan, Shan Yu, Flynn Rider, Princess Merida, King Fergus, Namaari, and Tong. See you tomorrow.